5-year, 15-year history, it goes up, then it goes down a little bit, goes up, goes down, and you can just picture that graph. It's not a straight line up. And that'll happen as people are pushing for new pin levels. They'll reach that pin level, and it's just an amazing amount of effort, energy, excitement, the team rallying to help someone get to a pin, and then it will not maintain that level. It'll back up a little bit, but then we'll make a run for the next pin level. So re-qualifying for that pin, for instance, if you're trying to reach bronze, it's just as important to re-qualify every week at the Builder 1000, because if you're qualifying every week at Builder 1000, that means that not only do you have new business coming in, but you also have auto ships and customer orders, etc. And if you're qualifying every week for Builder 1000, then you're eking up to the bronze level, and you'll be able to hit that. When you hit bronze in a week, well, the same thing. We want to continue to hit bronze every week as we're going to silver. So we have our baseline at bronze, and now we're trying to reach silver. So Freedom Friday is that time where we certainly are going to help people reach new pins, which simply means the checks are going to be bigger, obviously. Just that's what happens. And to do that, though, we must know our business. So checking through to find out who is close to a pin, reinforcing to those organizations to set a goal every week to re-qualify for their current pin is critically important. Now, when on Freedom Friday, if we're working together as a team, as we should be out throughout the period, of course, but Freedom Friday makes it even more accentuated. But if we're working together as a team, we can do several things. One, we know who's trying to reach pin levels. We know that we can rally the team around that. Hey, we can tell people so and so, in your upline or in your downline is going for a pin. Let your upline know, let their downline know. What can we do to get that little bit extra volume in this period? I think everybody's probably heard that old saying or that old analogy that, what if our lives were as productive as they were the day before we were going on vacation? We all know what that's like, right? It's just madness trying to get everything all done and ready and prepared and put in place so we can go on vacation, whether that be at work, at home. It's just an incredibly productive day, just getting all those loose ends tied up. Well, what if Freedom Friday was just like that? We have a culture of people doing everything they possibly can on that very last day of the cycle, and in this case, the period. So as we're going through, we can look at a couple of things. I know we were working on helping an individual in our group get to gold, and they were still a little bit away. But on Wednesday, we started looking at the genealogy because obviously auto ships run Monday and Tuesday. So we were looking through and seeing those individuals whose auto ships did not run down in the organization, and there were actually a few that didn't run, and we don't know why that was. There wasn't enough money in the checking account when the debit card was tried to be charged, or they got a new credit card with a new expiration date. It happened to me just a couple weeks ago, and I had to dash through and try to remember all the places I have my card for monthly debits or charges or whatever that might be. My auto ship is the first one that gets changed, of course. But there's a lot of cases like that. And then, of course, there's the larger volumes, right, the first orders, working with everybody. Okay, who is in the pipeline? Who is close to making a decision? Who is at a point that they could make a decision? And let's get on the phone with them, right? And that's probably the greatest thing that we can do. Auto ships, calling customers. I'm sure everybody has people that order here and there, maybe preferred customers on auto ship, and it runs, it doesn't run. It's not critically important to them if they've got product. But we can definitely call around to see who would need product, and it's amazing. 75, 150 points, they really all start to add up. But we'll get those new people making making decisions to get involved in the business, and obviously those are larger orders. And the way that we want to do that, of course, is on a three-way call. That's always the most effective way to go. I know we talk about it so many times. Phone's already ringing off the hook. It is Freedom Friday. I know that many people are apprehensive as many times as we do talk about how important three-way calls are to get their prospects on the line. And I often think about, now why is that? Why would people? It just doesn't make sense to me. When you realize the power of a three-way call and what a three-way call can do to bring a prospect in. Many times we have relationships, in particular with our warm market. There's an existing overlay of a relationship, and it can. Many people will respond, be more honest, be more open with a third party as opposed to someone that they know. And that three-way call is just that. It's an expert on the line, as their perception is. And when I say expert, we don't want to be intimidated, because we don't have to be the ultimate expert. We are the upline, although they don't necessarily know what that is, but these are the people that are helping us. Our upline is helping us build the business. And if they're in our upline, well, they've been in the business longer than us, even if it was a day, right? So when we bring a prospect to speak with that expert upline, and we edify properly credentials, what an individual's background is, how long they've been in the company, the kind of success they're having, their group is building, growing, and it could be an upline that has experience with Zegen. It could have hundreds, could have thousands, could have tens of thousands of people, but it really doesn't matter. That person doesn't have a perspective of that. They just know that upline's business is growing, starting to grow internationally, very successful, know our company, know our systems, know our products, and we just wanted to get a chance for you, Mr. Prospect, to just speak with this person and get a different perspective, perhaps a little bit more history. And it's just incredible how that works, how many decisions. And I've heard people say it many times, wow, that was fantastic. They made a decision, and it's funny because I said most of the things that you said, and it doesn't surprise me, because coming from a third party, it just has, I don't know, maybe more credibility. I don't know. Maybe if you have kids, that they'll often listen to my neighbor. They'll listen to a friend's parent more than they'll listen to us. It's just that familiarity, that overlay of that relationship. So that third party is important. And I often use the analogy. Just think about it. If your best friend you grew up with, friends for 20, 30 years, know each other, are together often, just best friends. Think of your best friend, and your best friend calls you up and says, hey, you don't know this, and I never told you this, but I've always had a secret passion. I always wanted to be a stockbroker, and I went back to school. I got my Series 7. I'm working for Merrill Lynch, just started today, and I just wanted to give you a quick call to see if you transfer all your money, your savings accounts, your 401s, whatever that might be, so I can manage that money for you. I'm going to help you grow that money. I don't know about you, but my answer immediately would be, no, I'm sorry, I just can't do it at this time. I'm real happy, everything's good, I'm satisfied where I am. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe call me in 5 years when you've had some experience, but I'm going to let you manage all my money and it's your first day? I'm not going to take that kind of chance. I'm not going to take that kind of risk. But what if that same call happened and the person said, you don't know this, my passion, etc. And it started today at Merrill Lynch, and I have with me here on the line a person named worldwide as far as getting a return on his client's investment. He is one of the 10 most successful clients growing his client's money. And we have a mentoring program, and he is going to be working with me every single day. And we wanted to know if you would transfer your savings and 401 or whatever that might be over to us so we can help you grow that money. Well, my answer would probably be, no matter what my relationship was with the current person, unless they were just amazing, which probably isn't always the case usually, but I would say absolutely. How in the world, how else would I get to this number 2 top 10 person in Merrill Lynch worldwide? You were that person that called you was just the conduit connecting you, the prospect, with the expert, with the credibility, the track record, the history, and that edification was critical. Because what if he said, well, I've got somebody on the line with me, and her name is Mary, and she's been with Merrill Lynch for a while, and we want to manage your money. Well, it's the same thing, right? So the edification is very, very important. We know it works. I mean, you talk to any successful individual in Zege International, I'll guarantee you they burn the phones on 3-ways. It's just how we build a business. That's the fundamental, most critical tool that we have in our business. And I often think, why don't people use 3-ways more? Why aren't these people that I've sponsored calling me for more 3-ways? When we talk and ask them, I'm talking to all these people, and I'm not getting a lot of interest, and so and so's thinking about it, and I might get a customer, and I'm thinking, why in the world have I not spoke to any of these people? I know I can bring them in the business, or at least some of them in the business. I've been doing this a long time. I know how to ask questions. I know what they're thinking. I know their concerns. I can bring that out. I can address them in a very effective way, and we can get things done. So why wouldn't you do that? Well, they didn't want to be on a 3-way. I asked them, but they didn't want to be on a 3-way call with you. And again, I know what probably happened in that they called that person up and said, well, why don't we, I've got somebody I want you to talk to. And that person, if they're making a decision, they don't know what to expect is the biggest problem. They think, I know what they're thinking. You're going to get somebody on the line with them, and that person is going to hammer them and pressure them, make them feel bad, like most people feel about salespeople. And whether that's true or not, it's just the perception. We know that when we walk into a store, we have to buy a dress, we have to buy a suit. We're it could be just to make significant money part-time. And so the way that we set these calls up is very important. Knowing, what is there to be afraid of. And I think that the better relationship we have with our upline, and we'll also have multiple upline, you'll have at least 1, 2, 3, maybe more people that you could introduce your prospects to for a three-way call to get that positive decision and get to know your upline, because we all have different personalities. We come from different backgrounds. We talk differently. We have different levels of experience, and so you want to try to match the appropriate upline with your prospect. If you've somebody in your upline was in the medical field and you've got somebody in a prospect in the medical field, that's the perfect way to go. Or if they were in the trades, connect someone that they can identify with. If you've got a type A, personality prospect, a real driver, goal-driven, well, make sure you get someone in your upline that has that same personality style so they can relate good to each other. I hear people many times say, well, Ron, I want to get you on this three-way. You just relate, you relate good to everybody. You just make everybody feel comfortable. You can talk to everybody. You make them, they like to talk to you. And I said, well, that's only because of personal development. It wasn't always like that. I'm a type A. I'm a driver. I'm used to having employees and talking to people in a certain way. And, when I came into this business, that's what I thought. I was just natural. That's what I did. That's how I had success in what I did. But through personal development, understanding personality styles, communication skills, I was then able to mirror, to match, to be able to talk with anyone. I get people on the phone and they're just talking a mile a minute. What do you think I do? I talk a mile a minute, because if I talk real slow, it will drive the prospect crazy and they're off the phone. And the opposite is true. When you get somebody, maybe from the south, and they're just talking, well, I think this is a good thing. Well, you better slow the pace down, because if you're talking fast, they're not going to relate. They're going to say, who is this? Somebody's trying to sell me something. They're fast talkers. So, not to digress into a training on that, but it's important. Now, how do you learn these things? Well, the great thing is you really learn as you learn. When you're doing three-ways with your upline to your prospects, you're learning. Sit there when you're listening to that three-way. You edify, make sure you understand who you're introducing in your upline. Hopefully you've gotten to know them. If not, ask them. Give me a couple of key points that I can use to edify you, so you're building more credibility for the expert. But have a notepad and take notes. When the upline asks questions, write down those questions. When the prospect gives answers or has questions themselves, write the question down. Write the answer that the upline gave down. And just pay attention to not only the information, but how the conversation goes, the questions that are asked, the pace of the conversation. And you'd be shocked. It's just very, very, very simple. Get a book on communication skills. There's many out there now, and learn. Just become, have a goal to become excellent at everything that we do in life, but in particular communication skills. If we do this properly, a three-way call is all about questions. There's no selling. It's all about questions. So number one, we have to get our egos out of the way and allow our upline to help. And the problem is, if you don't do that, egos always fail. There's an old saying, your bank account will never, ever, ever, ever exceed your personal development. Because that ego, if you're not allowing three ways and you're not doing them up, you're setting in motion duplication. Why in the world would anybody you sponsor do a three-way with you when you're telling them to do that, but yet they don't even know what that is? You can't even refer, say, yeah, just like remember when I introduced you to Ron. Well, you didn't do that. So you're going to find tremendous resistance from your group. So what's going to happen? Everybody's going to call you. or everybody's going to want their sponsor, who may be brand new and not nearly as up to speed on everything, as effective as they could be, as experienced upline in the company, and you'll wonder why your business fails. You'll wonder why people are not advancing. Well, it's because nobody has developed duplication on the most critical tool that we have, being the three-way call. And don't be afraid. Your upline, and I don't think I know really anyone that pressures people on a three-way call. And if so, then you just would never be able to use them again, obviously, until something changed with them. They got a little bit of personal development, some education and training, but use the tool. It's just so powerful. And plus, what you can do too is we call it on Freedom Friday, we call it depth charging. And I'll kind of wrap up with this, because this is huge. You have, as the team is working together, upline, downline, everybody's working together. Everybody has a goal. Perhaps there's a person or two that is driving for a new pin, or someone that's trying to requalify again. People will tell you if that's what their intention is, then we can only trust that intention is true. But either way, we want to depth charge, because building depth is what's going to get everybody all the way up excited. The more people going into the bottom of businesses, all the people from the person that just got involved, the person that's right above them, all the way to the top, everybody gets excited, because that's where the volume is. That's obviously, you see leverage. That's what we're here for. But depth charging would be, let's say, that you have somebody and they made the decision. They're going to get involved. What you can do is get them involved immediately. Put them in, sponsor them in your business, and put them in the holding tank. Right now, there may be other people that you have talked to, perhaps even longer or before this person that just sponsored in. And now you should have that list of all these people. Get your upline on the phone, start three-way calling, and now you have some tremendous information. Now, we're not only going to do a three-way call to get a positive decision, but we can also say that, hey, Mary, we've been talking quite some time, and I just have sponsored somebody in the business, and I need to place them in the organization. Since I talked to you first, I'm going to give you the opportunity. If you'll enroll right now, then I will put this person under you, and immediately you'll already start with someone on your team. And Mary may say, well, yes, absolutely. Well, boom, another one in the holding tank. And now all those people that you've been talking to, and they're thinking about it, right, trying to make that decision, you can go back to them. Same thing. I can put two people in. And if you're working with your upline, and if it's per area that you're working on the common leg with your downline, then obviously, or either of your legs of business, whoever's above it, say, hey, I've got some people that I can place. Do you have anybody that you've been talking for a while? A real go-getter, and tell them we've got people to put in their business if they'll get started right now. In fact, let's do a three-way with them. And I'll tell them that I've got some people that can go in their business if they make a decision. So it's, call your upline. Hey, I've got some people. Do you have anybody that you're talking to we can put into business? Why sponsor one person when you can turn that into 2 or 3 or 4 or more in a single day? Now, you always want to make sure that that business is placed out of the holding tank into the organization by midnight Friday Mountain Time, by the end of the week. Otherwise, that volume will not flow up. If they flow into the next week, you're credited for that volume all the way up, but it's not going to help anybody that you would place it underneath. So, again, working together as a team, setting a goal, having a purpose on Friday, and it works best when we're prepared. We worked on Wednesday and Thursday to find out where in our business the focus should be. Not that it wouldn't be everywhere, but again, the focus would be on somebody trying to reach a new pin or qualifying for a pin. And when we call them up and explain these things to them, we ask them their goals and explain how important it is to qualify or requalify. They may be one person, they may have sponsored 3, they need one more for another EBB. Somebody could hit, an SBB if their person had one more person. There's just all all kinds of reasons and that people should be building their business that they may not be aware of. Well, by making them aware of it, we're teaching them. Not only are we building our business, but we're teaching them these concepts at the same time. And if we teach them those concepts, well, and we show them how to do that, what do you think they're going to do? That will duplicate. They're going to duplicate because they just saw, wow, we just put 3 people in the business. That was incredible. And their first thing they want to do is call their people and tell them, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. This worked, man. It was so good last week. And, duplication could be our best friend or our worst enemy. And we have to understand that. Well, we've got an amazing day ahead of us. I focus today bigger than any other day of the week, of the period. I eliminate any distractions. I don't get on any type of, calls that do not involve, three-ways that do not involve getting people to positive decisions, because I want to keep my lines open. I want to focus in that. I hope everyone will do the same. It's not time to just start chit-chatting with people. We've got the other 6 days of the week to do that, but we're focused. And we want to drive everyone, all of the people that we talk to, our own team, our own distributors, all the prospects. We'll want to drive them to the Corporate Power Hour call that's coming up next Tuesday. That can be the one that seals the deal. Those calls are so powerful. All of the new distributors that come in, especially those that we're going to get in today, say, hey, tomorrow morning you want to be on the Fast Start training call. We can show you how to get your business off to a very, very, very fast start. And I guess what I'm saying is, whether they're on the edge of making a decision, but in particular if they do join the business, we want to get them plugged into action immediately. Tomorrow morning, Fast Start, Corporate Power Hour call Tuesday, even the MIT call Monday night. But we want to get them involved so that they begin seeing what we see, hearing what we hear, and knowing what we know, and that Siege International is the premier company in this industry, if not certainly in the top 2, 3 fastest growing companies worldwide in our industry. They need to catch that vision and hear the success stories, the excitement, the success that's happening within our company. And it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get stronger throughout this year, into next year. We're at a magic moment in time. Nobody miss it. Please, just for you, your family, if you see it, do the proper activities. One correct activity leads to the next correct activity, and we'll duplicate. You'll build a monster organization, watching it go from the tens to the hundreds to the thousands. And if we're duplicating properly, using the proper tools, it really will seem effortless. If it's feeling that it's hard, stumbling blocks, always blocks, difficult, everything seems laborious, it's probably because we're not doing the correct activities. When we do the correct activities, it's very, very smooth and it's fun. So with that, if there are any other announcements, I know that next week, David Moses, Chris Estes hit Southern California on Thursday, Northern California on Saturday. We still have an opportunity to jam some volume with the new XM Burn, whether you order in the back office or you on your app, you order the packages for all those distributors who may or may not have done that yet, so that they get that most effective product. What another tool for Freedom Friday. A great way to help people to pins by driving some volume down below, making sure everybody got that the new products, the Burn and the Daily Tea. So if there's not any, is there any other announcements? Everybody in the speaker line?
Just real quick, Ron, this is David Alding. I know you announced the 2030 Emeryville, but I just want to emphasize, please, for all the leaders and everybody in Vision Nation, pre-register, go online, get pre-registered so the company knows the numbers that are going to be there just for registration. It helps them carry the product and know what they need to look forward to. And thank you for your knowledge and wisdom, David Albini. Vision Nation, have a Freedom Friday and go out and fight for what you want.
Dave, oh man, what an awesome point. Yeah, not only that is, if everybody's pre-registered, they go right into the meeting quickly. Now these meetings are getting hundreds and thousands of people. It's not like, there's 20 or 30 people coming for a ZBB, and, the registration tables get bogged down, the meeting, either it has to start late or people have to be outside when it starts. So very, very good point, Dave. Thank you. off this call. It is going to be an amazing day, and if